executive session. June 3rd, 2025 at 7:15 PM. I hereby call this meeting to order. If you wish to speak during the public comment portion of this meeting, please complete a request form to speak and turn it into our city clerk at this time. It is recommended that you seek resolution of the complaint through the appropriate city department by scheduling a meeting with a council member or city staff before bringing this matter to the city council. Let's stand and do the flag salute, please. Do the pledge of allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. All right, looks like we have everyone here. So we'll go to approval of minutes, city council meeting, May 6th, 2025.
I move to approve minutes of May 6, 2025, city council regular meeting as presented.
Second that. Okay, I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Approval of minutes, budget committee meeting minutes, May 13th, 2025.
I move to approve the minutes of May 13, 2025 budget committee meeting as presented.
I second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, financial report, Martha.
Thank you. So in April, one of the biggest items that makes the most impact on your financials is the budgeted interfund transactions that have happened, the transfers. Those are located, a summary of those are located on the bottom right-hand corner of your report. So anything that says transfer from up above in the transactions, it falls under your expenditures, so money going out. And then the transfers to would be reflected in the revenues of those funds who received the interfund transfer. So just kind of a summary there. Because some of these are pretty big transfers, it really changed the fund balances. But also in our general fund for our revenues this month, it's one of the months where we received a lot of our quarterly payments. So we have our transient room taxes, our franchise fees, our payment from Gillum County for planning services. Our SRO payment comes twice a year, and it also happened to be in April. So that's included in there. So that kind of is the uncommon revenues that are in the general fund this month. The sewer fund received its annual rent payment for Circle 52. That was $26,250. The building fund once again received a very large payment for all phases of a very large construction project. And so you recall we had that in the month of March. We received another large one in the month of April. And then want to point out our capital project fund, which is the fund that housed all of the expenses on our GeoBond projects. That one has been finalized in the month of April, so it will not have any more activity the remainder of the fiscal year. And then you won't see it next fiscal year because we won't have a need for that fund anymore. With our, if you have questions on the financing department, I might update.
For the Gillum County, the fee that we get, is that looked at every time you're doing your budget? Like, do we look at what fee we're gonna charge? Is that dependent on the amount that we end up doing? Like, how is that?
The agreement with Gillum County for planning services is that they reimburse us for 2/3 of one of our planners, and that planner is the one who handles the Gillum County planning.
So you know what you need a budget for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any other questions?
My exciting update is that, we did find a senior accountant. She started yesterday. So she'll come next month to the council meeting so that you can meet her. And, today, all day, I already took her to the Oregon local budget training that was offered here at the Port of Morrow, so we're running.
What's her name?
Myra Fregoso.
Oh, exciting.
Nice.
We are excited to have her.
Any other comments for the budget? Thanks, Wanda. All right, so we'll go to our formal proceeding, 2025-26 budget adoption hearing. Public hearing on the city of Boardman budget 2025-2026 is called to order. Public hearing this evening will be conducted as follows. There will be a staff report, public testimony in the following order. Any testimony in support of the action, any testimony opposing the action, and any neutral testimony. Then we will close the public testimony. After the record is closed for testimony, no other testimony will be heard from anyone unless the city council has a specific question. The city council may ask questions of staff, after which the city council will discuss the matter and make a decision. The city council may make a final decision tonight, or the matter may be continued to a time and date certain in the future. If the matter is continued, this will be the only notice of that time and date you will receive. If you wish to speak, please fill out a testimony form and submit it to the city clerk. I will recognize those people wishing to speak. Any questions should be addressed through me. Please state both your name and address for the record when you come to the podium, as the hearing is being recorded. Please keep your testimony concise and to the point. Testimony should be on the action under consideration. Staff report. Finance Director Marta Barajas will now present the staff report.
Thank you. The Budget Committee of the City of Boardman held its meeting on May 13, 2025. That meeting was properly noticed via the East Oregonian on May 7th, 2025, and via the City of Boardman website as of May 16, 2025. The purpose of the meeting was for the Boardman Budget Committee to review the budget for the upcoming fiscal year 2025-2026. The Budget Committee meeting gave an opportunity for public comment. The Budget Committee approved the 2025-2026 budget in the amount of $89,266,800. The Boardman Budget Committee also approved the full permanent tax rate levy, as well as the levy for the general obligation bond in the amount of $1,187,600. The approved budget is brought to you today for your adoption.
Is there any additional correspondence beyond those items included in the council packet?
No.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the action? Does anyone wish to speak against this action? Does anyone have neutral testimony? The public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Is there any discussion by the city council?
I just got a question. I don't know if this is the time to ask, but I'd like a breakdown of what we discussed at our meeting. The amount of money that we pay the chamber. I would like a breakdown of what that actually entails. I think originally it was just said tourism. I feel like that's very broad, and maybe we should get a breakdown of what is actually, where our dollars are going and how it's being spent. Just so that we have a record of it. That's all.
Does anyone else have anything they wish to discuss? All right, we'll go on to public comment. We have prearranged presentation, Morrow County Schools, Boardman, you are up.
Hello, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Finley Canal. My name is Elsie Randall. We would like to tell you about some things that are happening in Sanborn Elementary in June. This is our last presentation before school ends. By the way, we only have 6 days of school life. The last day of school is on June 12th. June 5th is the senior grad walk. Seniors from RHS will walk down the hallways of SBE and get captain gown while we cheer on them. Be looking for a video on Facebook. We look forward to this every year because in a few years that we will be the ones who will be taking that walk down the halls of Sanborn Elementary School. Where we all started. Our teachers love this as well. Many of our teachers had them as students at SBE. Second grade classes are visiting Think Big Space, and third graders are going on a field trip this month. Our MMPR assembly will be on June 11th, and we are having our family barbecue on June 12th. June 12th is also our field day. Field day is so fun. There are so many activities that the whole school participates in. And thank you for your time, and we hope you have a great summer.
Very good. You weren't that nervous, were you? Good answer. Yeah, good job. And I don't think we have Windy River today, so. All right, so in our packets, we have the report of the PCDA Chamber Report, May 2025. Anybody have any comments they have regarding that? Okay, we'll go to our action items, ordinance 4-2025, amendment to the Boardman Municipal Code, removing chapter 1.12, contract review board. That's Mr. Hammond.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
Did I read the title?
No, are you gonna give a staff report as to what we're doing?
Oh. Yes. I
Thank you.
was in training all day. In my head. Okay, so we are getting rid of an ordinance that will help us to clear up the procurement policy, so we need to eliminate the ordinance and then we're gonna put it into a resolution, right? Amanda could have done.
That was clear as mud.
Do I need to clarify?
Yeah, do you want the better water?
So the procurement discussion that we had is stated in a current ordinance. And we need to remove it from the ordinance so we can adopt it, the new one, in a resolution. So all we're doing is getting rid of the ordinance and that old language. And then gonna put it into a resolution.
What are the benefits of a resolution over an ordinance?
Like the simpleness in passing one, like you can do it in a one-time sitting, you don't have to have 2 readings. It doesn't have to be noted.
Procurement, it changes over time, you know, the state changes the rules. And the problem we have with what's in the current municipal code is that it's old, it's out of date. It doesn't reflect current law. So that's why we wanna remove it from the municipal code, so that we're not encumbered by requirements that aren't current. We want to adopt the procurement policy by resolution, because as those changes happen, it functions as policy, not as a directive ordinance. So when it's in the municipal code, it is the city's law. As a resolution, it becomes our policy. And when those contracting requirements change and MARTA goes, oh dang, they changed the requirements again, it's much easier to amend that policy, bring it back here and adopt it again through resolution. So it functions as policy rather than city law. Maybe that helps, I don't know.
Okay, that's great.
All right, so we need at step one, we're gonna read it into the record. Or we need to. I need a motion.
I move to approve the reading by title only of ordinance 4-2025, an ordinance repealing the City of Boardman Municipal Code, Chapter 2.12, Contract Review Board, declaring an emergency and stating an effective date.
I'll second that.
Okay, I got a motion and a second, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, a staff member needs to read the title of the ordinance.
And that is me. Oh, just all in tuned. Ordinance 4-2025, an ordinance repealing the City of Boardman Municipal Code, Chapter 2.12, Contract Review Board, declaring an emergency and stating an effective date.
And I need a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance 4-2025, an ordinance repealing the City of Boardman Municipal Code, Chapter 2.12, Contract Review Board, declaring an emergency and stating an effective date.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second, anybody wish to discuss? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Mayor Keeper, I'm sorry, just to clarify on the agenda, there was a typo on the item itself. It says 1.12, or it should say 2.12. So just to clarify for anybody.
Oh,
looking at that.
on the
On the
agenda.
agenda itself,
But we did read it 2.12.
correct,
In the ordinance and in the adoption.
correct.
Thank you. All right, resolution 13-2025, adopt the budget 2025-2026.
I move to approve resolution 10-2025 and resolution adoption. No, that's not the right one. 13, yeah, I move to approve resolution 13-2025, a resolution adopting the city budget for fiscal year 2025 to 2026.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion about the budget? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Resolution 14-2025, imposing and categorizing tax for 2025 and 2026.
I move to approve resolution 14-2025, a resolution imposing and categorizing taxes for the 2025-2026 fiscal year.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Did I skip over the 10-2025? Oh, thank you. I thought we, yeah, I must have. Okay, resolution 10-2025, adopting public contracting rules. Thank you, Brendan.
So from the only thing that we added from the discussion that we had was the clarity on the surplusing. Correct? Everything else, there was no real discussion that was had, so it was as presented from the last time we discussed. So that lays out, when I have to go and get permission now, we will be coming more often because when we do, contracting updates, those updates are pretty big, you know, sometimes 1 million or so, so that would go to you. Other than that, it's just very spelled out. I just can't wait to be able to just have that step-by-step direction of what we're doing.
Well, then I move to approve resolution 10-2025, a resolution adoption of adopting public contracting rules, including a schedule of signature authority.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Now I'm on track. So, resolution 15-2025, election to receive state revenues.
I move to approve resolution 15-2025, a resolution declaring the city's election to receive state revenues.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution 16-2025, appointing custodial treasurer.
I move to approve resolution 16-2025, a resolution appointing Moore County Treasurer as custodial officer.
Second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we'll go to other business. Land purchase number 1.
Okay,
Go ahead.
sorry. Okay. So we have had these discussions. And now this is the time that we can publicly come out and talk about what we've discussed. So I just wanted to go back. When the North Urban Renewal was approved 2 years ago, last year, 2 years ago.
If
4, maybe? Three anyway.
North,
Yeah, North.
that was.
It was right
last
around
year.
when I came on.
It was like last May is when we started.
Yeah, it's very close. Part of the North Urban Renewal is to like invigorate development. And one of those areas is as stated here in lots 800, 100, and 101. So it states specifically in the North Urban Renewal that we're gonna carry on, Boardman, thank you, Boardman Avenue. And that we're going to extend northeast 4th Street.
Third and fourth.
Not third's outside, but 4th Street. Okay. So that landed directly on these 3 parcels. So it was about an estimated about $3 million that the city was basically saying, here you go, landowner, there's $3 million. So the thought came, well, why can't we be the landowners and reap the rewards of that $3 million investment, knowing, just so everyone can understand, that $3 million investment, all the North Urban Renewal projects are going to be paid from the tax abatements within those cities. So this is not like city funds that are gonna pay for these projects. So you have this $3 million investment. Why can't the city reap the rewards of that? And that is what the proposal is. Now, I'm supposed to share, so we're looking at, it went back and forth, and it has been agreed upon that the landowner is willing to sell it for $4 a square foot. When you look at the RMV, which is the real market value, it doesn't pencil in, but that doesn't mean that that's what the assessed value was. So current land, just to get an idea, the fire department, they bought their land in 2021 for $4 a square foot, right around there. There was another piece of property, lot 402, that sold it for $5.27 a square foot. We had a piece of property that was, an offer was accepted at $3.74 a square foot. That fell through, but again, at one point it was offered. So just to give everyone an idea that the $4 a square foot really is a decent rate for local prices where we're going right now. So I feel good about that. And we are asking that the council approve the purchase of those 3 lots. It ends up being a little over $3 million, $3,068,366.40. Again, that is how much? Oh, square feet is 776,000 square feet at $4 a square foot. Okay. This is also a investment purpose. This is not we're just gonna sit on it, but the point of this is to go in, put these roads, get a developer. The property right now is listed as multi-family. So again, as part of your goals is we're trying to get some housing. That could be a possible opportunity over there is to do some housing. The parcel 101 On Olson, I believe that is commercial. So we would do development, right?
Light industrial.
Thank you, light industrial. So again, all of that, so it's an investment opportunity. The purpose would be the 3 million is gonna be paid for the roads from urban renewal. The 3,068,000 investment for the purchase of the land will be paid for when we do a development. So
So where does the cash come to?
out of our budget.
And so is that a transfer from the building, a loan from the building fund?
No, I don't think so. It was,
No, this one was the Business Oregon.
that's for the land. No. The purchase of the land is from our budget.
Oh, yes.
Oh, eventually, yes. I mean, eventually no, the land is straight from our budget.
The land, yes.
Yes,
The
the land is
development
straight from our
is
budget.
Oregon.
So you had enough tax dollars come in this year to be able to afford to pay 3 million
Six-
for that land
Tax dollars from.
without transferring money from the building fund.
Correct. Pres dollars mixed in there too.
Okay, okay. And then you're going to go, and how are you going to get the other 3 million that you're gonna put into the expansion of the roads and the sewer and water?
Through the North Urban Renewal, and we will get a Biz Oregon, loan to do that.
That was that proposal of $6 million from Biz Oregon?
Correct. Yep.
And you're gonna go through with that?
That is the hope. Yep.
And what if we don't like that hope?
If you don't like that hope, then, I mean, the budget was approved to do it. That was the aspect of the budget.
Okay.
I move to approve the purchase of real estate property located at 4N 25E 09DA, lots 800, lots 800, 100, and 101 for the amount of $3,068,366.40 with associated closing costs, and authorize city manager Brandon Hammond to sign documents for conveyance.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion over this? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Alright. Next land purchase.
Okay, so the next purchase is lots 401 and 402. That is just to the west of City Hall. There has been discussion of wanting to expand our police department. And I want to premise this with this notion. When the fire department built and expanded their new location, they had the idea of like, hey, we're gonna go and be able to accommodate a city of 10,000. That is kind of the same notion. That as our city expands, as we grow, we wanna look into the future, and this PD is like, okay, what is it gonna take for us to accommodate a town of 10,000? This piece of property really came out at a good time. We had looked at other lands and just people were not willing to do that. The negotiating back and forth with the landowner, they were, excited to sell. At one point, we talked about $4 a square foot. They called back a little bit after and said, hey, I think we want to get going on this. And they lowered it to $3.74 a square foot, which is amazing. Again, it's about, where's the lot site? 138,000 square feet in the back. It's 2 lots over there. The purpose right now is, again, this is not an investment per se in that we're gonna get money back. It is a $520,000 land purchase. We would, again, with the budget being approved, we estimated that we would this year be going and doing a PD design. So that would be in this budget year, we do a design, and then the hope would be next year to start the process to build. Part of, again, 5 strategic goals is to provide adequate public facilities, and I think that is totally aligned with that goal.
Right, looking for a motion.
Move to approve the purchase of real estate property located at 4N 25E 16B lots 401 and 402 for the amount of $519,696.93 with associated closing costs, and authorize city manager Brandon Hammond to sign documents for conveyance.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion about this?
I just wanted to clarify, so you're saying with this one, it's more of the investment for our community,
Correct.
not as a financial investment. The previous one, I don't think you mentioned that, that one would be more of a financial investment, that would help us to be able to continue to build on some of these other things like the one we're talking about right now.
Correct, thanks for bringing that up. So we did do in that first property, the lots 800, 100 and 101, we did do a development analysis, which mentioned at $3 million, right around there, that we would be able to make the money. And my hope is that, you know, you spend the money for the land and then we're making a couple $1 million profit, that then we can then go into other things, sidewalks or whatever we want to, more housing projects or whatever, so. Thank you.
But it would also, as an example, I'm not saying this is what you're gonna do, but, we would have the land for for law enforcement, but not the building. And so that would potentially help to pay for the building,
Mm-hmm, yep.
right, without the need to like put a bond out for the.
Oh, correct, yep.
Any other discussion?
Mine's more of a statement, but
Okay.
I'm very happy to see we found a spot to actually put a PD, that we're growing, the community needs it, our law enforcement needs it. So I'm very happy to see it move forward. Awesome.
Any other discussion, councilors? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now it's time for invitation for public comment. Do I have anybody that wishes to have public comment? Okay. Police report.
So you should have a copy of the month-end report for the month of May. The numbers are staying steady. We're seeing that steady increase in calls for service, and you can see our traffic citations are going up along with our traffic stops. Our DUIs continue to be a problem. We continue to arrest as many as we can, and we're still getting them. So we're investing some overtime into that to try to get some officers out working targeted enforcement. We'll continue to work on that issue. It's kind of scary to see that amount of cases. I am sad to report that one of our officers is currently in backgrounds for another agency. So we'll probably be losing one here soon. And then tomorrow, our newest officer has tendered his resignation. He has decided his law enforcement career is over, his age. He just decided it was time for him to quit. So unfortunately, he'll be moving along. They are staying here in Boardman, not going back to Mississippi, but it's a tough time to be in a law enforcement career, so especially coming from another state to Oregon, it's quite the eye opener. So we are going to be shorthanded. We did conduct some testing Friday. We interviewed 3 applicants, 2 of which stood out really well, and I'll be doing some chief interviews on those hopefully this week and see how that turns out. Are there any questions?
We don't currently have any in DPSST right now.
Thank
No.
you.
Okay, that's.
So we did have a candidate that was at DPSST, who made it about halfway through, and is no longer employed with us. So we have to start that all over again.
Have to be an officer. It's just Any other questions? Comments? Building department report.
Good evening, everybody. So,
Oh, there he is.
I'm not used to talking before 8 o'clock, but which I'm not supposed to. So our numbers have come up a little bit. We're back to where we were about last summer. That's looking good. I know that planning is busy, and that means we're gonna be busy soon. I don't know, this is not part of Boardman, but I don't know if I mentioned this before, but out Airport Road, if anybody's not gone out there, that's just going crazy out there. There's one data center now and many more planned. But looks like we're going in for another good summer. Any questions?
I would just like to say, happy 5 years. They
Thank you.
went pretty fast.
They go by fast, yes.
Well, and I
6 years.
appreciate you coming on board when I was desperate, and you've been a wonderful employee for the
Thank
city of Boardman.
Yeah, it has been 6 years, that's right.
It's actually 6.
Yeah,
Did 5 years.
it seems like 5. No, it seems like 7. Wait,
From 6 years.
It didn't seem like 5, they just went like a whiz, you
Yeah,
know that.
yeah, they did.
Anybody else have any questions? Thank you.
Yep.
Public Works.
So you received your report from Public Works, and I would also like to put some information out. So we're getting ready to do the major street work at Southwest Front Street and Oregon Trail Loop. That's already started, even though it's all the equipment. Immediately following that, we'll start on Southwest Main, and that will be pretty much a road closure. So we're doing the loop road first, so we'll have an alternate route to get through Boardman with the businesses on Main Street. So as soon as the loop road's done, we'll start tearing up Main Street. That will be pretty well closed from Wilson Road to the Oregon Trail. So, yeah. So it'll be a little difficult. Hopefully we can, get everybody to cooperate with alternate routes, and the more they know about it, the earlier they know about it, the better they can make plans to take care of that. Also be another smaller project on Northeast Front Street. Gonna do the sewer pipe between Second and Fourth, which will affect access to the Sage Center. That's gonna start this month as well. So you gotta go to the Sage Center, just think ahead and just go down Columbia and Wilson. It'll be a lot easier than trying to get around the other way.
Will the splash pad still be open in here?
The splash pad is open now, open to Memorial Day now, and it will, yeah, so you'll be able to get to the splash pad. Probably even to the, well, I don't think you'll be able to get to the soccer field directly, but you'll be able to get around to the soccer field through the splash pad. So you can go down probably Third Street and park down by the skate park in that area and get access everywhere past that.
Well, we have pictures of the road develop, like how it's gonna look to share with the public. So like when we did Front Street, Southeast Front Street, we actually got the design plan, so we could share that with people and say, this is what the road's gonna look like, cause it was, I mean, they tore it up and it was brand new, basically.
We do have design plans, and we will, I'm guessing we'll get those on the website.
If you give them to me, I'll put them on.
All right, yeah, we get that taken care of, yeah.
I just think the visual helps people, so we understand what's going on and why, and what's gonna happen.
It's a bigger project, so
It
it's
is,
not gonna
it
be
is a
like
big
we can
project.
show to you in one.
Mhm.
There, it's-
But I think
it's
that'll
in
probably be
sections.
big just because it is the main road through town, so.
Yeah.
I just had one question. I just noticed that the sprinklers were off at the dog park, and it's kind of really sad to see the dogs out
We
there.
don't own the dog park anymore,
I know.
so yeah,
When are we gonna construct the new one?
that will be happening soon.
The 16th.
Yeah, starting on that soon, as well as the greenway underneath the DDA.
And that's gonna be that new loop Right,
Oregon
on that
Trail,
corner, right?
southeast.
Right where you can turn, yeah.
The dog park will be on southeast side,
South.
your side, yeah.
Can we maybe get some signs up to let the people that are utilizing the dog park know that it's coming and where it's gonna move to?
We're gonna put it on the website. Yep.
I just meant, cause there's a lot
I-
of.
We don't wanna
travelers
put
that
the
use
signs
it.
up that we're moving it yet, just because we don't have people coming over there.
No, just that it is moving in the future and where it's moving to, cause it's a lot of travelers that use it.
Yeah.
And we'd like them to still use the appropriate spots.
Yes.
Yes. And a lot of the traffic are using, northeast Front Street. That's set up not for necessarily playing with the dogs, but it is set up for the dogs, for the travelers to do that and stuff, the doggy boxes.
Yeah.
Working on the lagoon system, dewatering the lagoon so we can let it dry out, so we can dredge it, clean the solids out of it. And then when that one's done, we'll go to the next one, and then that one's done, we'll go to the next one. So that was the purpose of building the fourth lagoon, was so we can start watering and dredging. It's a lot cheaper to dry dredge than to wet dredge, so. Public Workers have almost completed all the meters in the city to, radio reads, which is way ahead of schedule from what we thought it was gonna take, so they've really been working hard to get that done, and they're almost there, we're really close, almost got them all done.
Yeah.
The old water building is almost cleared out of all the piping and structure, so we can get that floor leveled in there. It's really all sorts of concrete supports and stuff that the pipes ran on, so as we can get that all the pipes out and clean out all the concrete, we'll have a shop to work in, so.
And a place to put a Hummer.
Yeah, place to go.
On a cyber truck?
Yeah.
We'll do a Hummer.
And I would like to give a big thanks to all the residents for being patient with us when we're doing all these roadworks, and they were as patient as they could be on Columbia, and I hope I hope this goes better than Columbia.
I don't know, I think
Just sitting next to you, ready to beat on me because of that, yeah, so. Anyway, any questions on any of the other stuff?
When is Oregon Trail and Front supposed to be done before you start moving?
It's gonna be probably about a little over a month.
And that's just gonna be gravel road, right?
It will be just gravel, it'll be very nice gravel, but it will be just gravel, because they gotta do Main Street as well and get it to a solid base, and then they will asphalt the whole thing in one shot.
And I'm assuming, semi trucks can still travel on it, or?
Yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, and they're gonna be doing some work on this center
Mhm,
drive here, the circle
mhm.
is not gonna be a squared off
Yeah.
edge, it's gonna be a nice approach, so the trucks can actually make that.
Gotcha.
And they'll be able to drive up on the
Mhm.
roundabout a little bit if they need to, so. And I think that's gonna be, continue to be that way. It won't go back to what it is now.
What
It'll
it is
stay with
now.
with
Gotcha.
that tapered edge, yep.
And Mr. Grigo, who is in charge of maintaining that loop? Or is that gonna be the city, or is that gonna be the construction, the alternate route?
As far as like watering,
Watering, I mean,
Grading and all that?
grading, I mean,
It'll
it's
be-
probably
it'll
gonna
be a
get tore up pretty good.
yeah, the contractors will take care of that while we're in this process.
They were over there just mowing today and kind of doing some brush work, and they had the water truck. I mean, I was pretty, do something with that microphone.
I'm doing it on purpose, if she doesn't realize it.
The joke's on her.
Because, you know, they were already watering, and I thought, well, that's really dry, you know, and I'm sure it's sparking a fire. But yeah, it would be great to, I think, I'm pretty. I've worked with Premier before, and I was happy with their work. So I hope they do a good job again this time.
And there's stuff going on across the street as well, they've done a good fire break all the way around the
Yeah,
property.
they
across the
know
street.
that.
So,
Any other questions or comments?
Gonna be a lot more traffic around City Circle.
Well, the seniors are gonna have a first-hand view. We're gonna be at the windows all the
I
time.
heard you're gonna have lemonade stands on a regular.
Well, we had somebody sleeping on the bench Saturday, so maybe we'll have lemonade.
All right, planning official report.
Work continues with all of the strategic planning efforts that are underway. This not tonight, you did hear the, TSP update. And since we have a county commissioner in the room, I'll just reiterate again. Early September, we'll be looking for that joint city-county planning board council meeting about the TSP and future adoption. I haven't had a chance even to talk to city manager Hammond about this yet, but our parks plan deadline is gonna slip just a little bit. We probably won't get it done in July, it'll probably be more like September. So that's coming along, but lots of community engagement in that and just getting to the final document is taking a little bit longer, so. Still gonna get it done, it's just not gonna be as timely as we hoped. The EOA, it's just been kind of quiet, I mean, it's happening, we're having conversations, we've had 2 PAC meetings. I need to start poking the consultant team on that one to actually get some deliverables so we can begin seeing some outcomes of the work. What am I missing? Oh, the comprehensive plan development code update. That's moving along pretty smoothly. We had a PAC meeting just yesterday. What they're doing around the comprehensive plan is really kind of intriguing. I'm just kind of this low-end planner in a lot of respects. There's 14 goals, just write 14 chapters and make it simple, and they're kind of mixing it up and taking an approach that they're kind of identified for concept areas, and they're kind of building the comprehensive plan around those, and they do kind of reflect the goals that came out of the strategic planning process. So it's kind of interesting. I think it'll be a really good comprehensive plan when we're done. Late August, we're looking at, for that project, doing some community outreach, what's called scenario planning. So we're gonna try to facilitate a number of focus groups. We're probably gonna target around the time of the community night out, and maybe that afternoon and that evening have some interaction with the community. On the housing needs analysis, and what will become now with the new vernacular from the state will be a housing capacity analysis. And we actually have, today I was able to get to a document off the DLCD website. They have kind of proposed scopes of work. So I'm gonna steal one of those so we can actually start working and get to maybe engage that project, if not prior to the 1st of January, be kicking that off in this next year. That's kind of all the stuff happening on the strategic planning side. The contract, during the budget, the relationship with Gillum County was raised. There was a question about the budget on that. It's been a year now, almost, that we started the conversation with Gillum County a little over a year ago about doing their planning for them. We've now been doing it for almost a year. July 9th, I think, is the day Stephanie started, is kind of the day we went live with that. And it's going well. We are being paid about 2/3 of Stephanie's wage. And she probably is not giving them 2/3 of her time. So, while she was gone, I gave them too much time. It was really hard to go back and do county planning again for 6 weeks, but, it was kind of interesting also. Other issues, code enforcement's busy. You mentioned the fire breaks. Those letters did go out. We are working with people on fire breaks. We're focused also on figuring out how to deal with abandoned cars. Historically, our code enforcement officers have been reserve police officers, and they have access and the ability to do some things that our last 2 or 3 code enforcement officers don't have that connection. So there's a couple of things that we're working through with how the code is written and what assumptions have been made in the past, and how do we deal with that going forward. I know I'm missing something. We are issuing development permits. Housing, is happening.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Tower Road, absolutely, give you an update there. So the property we own out there, we had some grand plans, and it just is kind of over time, fizzled is maybe a good way to look at that. There's still interest in the property, but we've made the decision, the land partition was approved by the County Planning Commission. We did not agree with some of their conditions. We did appeal that to the Board of Commissioners. We were successful with that appeal. that Board of Commissioners appeal has been, or decision has been further appealed to Luba. And so rather than do that, we have asked the county to withdraw their decision from Luba. And once I have confirmation that Luba has accepted that motion, then we will be withdrawing our application for the partition from the county. So we're gonna move forward with that as just a single piece of property in its current configuration and see what happens with it.
So now, does that mean all of the property from Coonsey south? Or,
No, it means the whole property,
Yeah, north and south.
north and south. So we were initially gonna create 3 parcels, a little teeny parcel way up north that was for initially UEC had indicated interest in having the property between them and Love's. They no longer have that interest. They're like, maybe someday, but in our current look, it's just not there. So we're like, okay, we're not gonna worry about making a parcel to sell that property to you. And they're like, well, that's the risk we run. Okay. And then the other one that was on the north end was all, that was maybe to the RV park and some other things, and those projects just didn't move. So there's really no reason to truly, the city no longer has a need or an interest to divide that property into the 3 parcels that were proposed. So as much as we've spent a lot of time and energy on that, we are moving towards, based on that Luba appeal, we will be withdrawing that application. So it will just be retained as the original parent parcel, which is about 308 acres, I think, in its entirety. So there's still an interest in that property, and
what is the interest in the entire 300 acres?
there is, yes.
So
There
they
is.
would take
All
above
of it.
Love's and down.
All of it.
Okay.
Mhm. And again, those conversations are continuing and kind of the background.
So do you anticipate this happening every time we try to develop that land?
I think we need to not own that land, and then we don't have to deal with those issues.
Gotcha.
But yes, whoever owns that property is gonna continue to deal with development pushback
Gotcha.
from some of the neighbors out there. Yeah. And as the county planner for 18 years, I saw that at the county too. It was the same parties.
Gotcha.
Any other questions? Residential development, things continue to happen. Chaparral, is, being marketed, Chaparral Phase 2. So it will, there's interest in developing it and having that move forward. Mr. Mon is not so much interested in development, and he's not a young man anymore. And so we've had a conversation with a potential purchaser doing their due diligence. So I'm excited to see Chaparral Phase 2, because honestly, we're coming too rapidly to the end of our currently available single-family development lots and even available large parcels to create more. So we're gonna push up against some real housing issues at some point in the foreseeable future.
Land issue.
Land issues, it's just the land available to develop. So it's about working with, either Mr. McCarty with his property, or finding other land to either maybe do a UGB swap. So yeah, from a planning perspective, we're gonna have to get creative.
Cardi owns that land at the end of Coonsey and
He owns the large circle, the 2 small circles,
then that little.
That half
that
circle,
double wide
and
attached to it.
there's a half circle, and then there's even smaller circle that is under his ownership, so yeah.
When would we start looking at the UGB and trying to?
Now, that's part of the reason we're doing the EOA, the economic opportunities analysis, and doing the housing needs analysis.
Okay.
So it's really looking at a number of things. It's looking at what is your current inventory of land? And then is that current inventory adequate for what we anticipate your needs to be? And if not, then what do we do? So it's kind of like what we're doing with the TSP. You kind of look at your existing conditions, you look at potential solutions, and then you figure out which ones you're gonna pursue.
Well, and we finally are using up most of our available land.
Oh, absolutely. The land you just authorized to purchase at the end of Northeast Front is one of the last large parcels. But its zoning is multifamily, not single family.
Right.
But even as it develops, it again consumes more available residential land. Which is good, but it just means we're gonna get to the end of our inventory at some point, and we need to start looking at the inventory and ascertaining how we add to it.
In that process, do we pick a certain section of the UGB and kind of go for that section first, or do we take a whole swath of it at one time rather than do it separately?
Yeah, we've got such an odd UGB, you know, there's the stuff at the port and then there's the stuff that's not in the city between the port exit and Olson and then we have interested and willing landowners west of town. I mean, literally immediately between Paul Smith Road and Scobell, we've got about 5 landowners there that have an interest in coming into the UGB. We are limited because of, again, because of the land owned by Mr. McCarty. You know, we have a large inventory, it's just not available. And so, you know, one of the things we can do is a UGB swap. We can say, okay, well, we're gonna work with Mr. McCarty and we're gonna take some of that land out of our UGB, potentially out of our city limits and our UGB, and then move that land someplace else. So there's a couple of options. The other really big, component when you start looking at expansion of your UGB is the work that Mr. Drago does. Because if we can't serve it, we can't bring it in.
Yeah.
So it's really important in that conversation about, well, where's the willing landowner, but where can we get water and wastewater to it? You know, where can we reasonably service it? So there's a number of factors that go into that conversation.
That reminds me, on the website, is there a place I can go and look up where the water and sewer, I used to have a map on my wall, so it was easy to know that where the water and sewer lines go and where they stop, you know, like, okay, I go to the end of this street and I have no more sewer.
Right, so the interactive map is not yet up on the city's website, but that is a project, a task that we've identified that we're gonna do.
Okay.
So no, today you can't go to the city's website and find those water and wastewater, or water and wastewater lines.
Right.
But you will be able to at some point, hopefully in the not too distant future.
So if I came into the office and I said I'd like a copy of the map,
Yeah,
you'd have it.
several of us have it available. I mean,
Sure.
so myself, Aurelie, Stephanie,
I have one on my wall.
Roy, he's got a couple on his wall. You can come in
I
and.
got it, anytime you want it, I can.
Okay.
Take a picture of it then.
Take a picture with your phone.
Yeah. You know the technique person I am.
We could frame it, you can make it a focal point for house.
I can have one on my wall.
Yes,
At all.
I'm sure we could even get Anderson Perry to print one for you.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you.
I have one.
Okay,
How much urban growth boundary can we add and?
there are a lot of factors that go into that answer.
Okay.
So let me share a couple of examples. So the city of Hermiston has been working on a UGB expansion of about 1,500 acres, specifically for large data center development. Now, if you were doing a residential UGB expansion, you might look at 100 acres. So and then it depends on what size your city currently is, what your current inventory has, your ability to serve your current inventory, and then what your growth projections are relative to what your 20-year need is. And your UGB is supposed to be accommodating to your 20-year growth projection. So there's no one size fits all answer to that question, but hopefully that helps you understand all the factors that go into that. And it's different factors for residential versus employment lands.
Okay.
But there are a couple of UGB expansions in our future, right? There just are. Whether they be swaps or expansions or some other
You
animal.
just have to do some of the pre-planning first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're doing the EOA and the housing capacity analysis process, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Thanks, Carl.
You're welcome.
Do you have any committee reports? I think we did.
Manager report.
And then we have a city manager report.
Well, Heather was at the TSP PAC meeting, she could talk about the TSP PAC meeting, but you kind of went through it.
We already went through it.
All right, Mr. Hammond,
The
city
only,
manager report.
yeah, the only thing I really wanted to share, well, two things. So as part of the council's objective, communication, as it states up on your vision, is just, it's a huge part of it. So the city has taken that on, and just to clarify, we send out multiple methods of communication. And if individuals are not finding them, I do apologize if it is not in these 5 sections, but sometimes someone's gonna have to put a little effort into doing that. So we have a Facebook that is regularly shared. We have a website you can go get information on. We do the push, we have the email and text notifications that are sent out regularly. We have a monthly newsletter that is sent out. And the reader board. If there is something not shared on there, I take full responsibility for that. But the city can only do so much. We can only send out so much information, and not to like make it curt. But really, if you want to know what's going on in the city, it is out there. And if you cannot find it, please call the city. And posting on Facebook is not contacting the city. I do not have a Facebook account. I do not look on Facebook unless I'm glancing over my wife's shoulder. Other than that, I just don't. And if someone really wants to know, please let I don't know who doesn't have my cell phone number, but most people have my cell phone number. Please just contact. That's the first thing. We really take that seriously. And the other thing is, I just can't share enough appreciation. I always get a little nervous when we do something like the land purchase, and when we talk about the budget, and it's these large dollar amounts, but everything we're doing is focused on those 5 strategic goals that you guys have established. And just to emphasize that we are not deterring as of right now from that. You guys have said it. As a staff, we are reaching those goals. So if there's any community members that question that, it is the things we're doing are aligned with those 5 things. And I really do appreciate all of you being willing to at times step outside your comfort zone and do something that maybe isn't normal. Like, no, we normally don't do that in Boardman, and I realize that, but I do believe that these goals are going to help Boardman into the future. So I just thank you guys for your willingness to do that. That's it.
Do you have any comments or questions?
He's just saying, Karen, shut up.
I don't know what you heard. I do not what I heard.
I understood the message.
Is this the counselor?
Yeah, we're at council comments.
I just want to add to what he's talking about, those 2 things that he brought up. He says curt, I say blunt. If you want information, it's out there. You just have to go get it sometimes. And if I want to be informed as a citizen, you just find out who it is and go to them. I don't think there's anybody, at least at the city or council wise, that's gonna go, nope, I don't want to talk to you. That's just not how it works. And so if you want to be informed, you can get informed. It's pretty easy. And the second thing is, you talk about the growth and the decisions that we're making and all this stuff. I like the idea that you're how would I say it? You are positive that this is for our future growth. Like, as much as people don't like it, or some people don't like it, like moving forward is important, And I talk to a lot of people every single day. I'm a talker, okay? Very few interactions with people have been negative. Like, oh, I can't believe we're doing this, and I can't believe we're doing that, and city this, city that, or whatever. All of them, if you just tell them, if they ask a question and you tell them the truth, they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Versus going on Facebook or whatever, like, go to the source, and like I said, I have a lot of positive interactions with people every single day. Both in town, out of town, doesn't matter. Very few have ever been negative. So I think that's a good thing.
You guys have any?
My only comment on that same topic is the text notifications are actually very useful. So They come across and you just click on it, it goes.
Yeah, click on it. You don't click on it.
Sorry there, Mayor.
Because I'm the leader. I'm the leader. I don't want that. So you gotta open it.
Anyway, so if you do open it, it literally pops up with what it is. It's that
It
simple.
tells
So,
you exactly what's out.
We even got letters. It has been very nice to get those things yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, so let,
With the copper line.
You got a letter?
yeah.
Yeah,
so
the
that's how you are.
No, it's garbage.
See how you are, that is.
It looks
you
like
can
junk
bill as
mail.
well. You can take your bill as well.
Came today.
Yeah.
You got it
Why,
yesterday.
probably, I did, but I live in a preferred community.
Was it this letter that you got?
No, I got the lead testing, both in English
I
and
think it was
Spanish,
just.
and my water
that
bill.
letter.
And my water bill,
Oh, I pay my.
and a little list of what's happening in Boardman.
Yes, that was what I was getting at, it's, that there was a lot of stuff.
I think that the only thing I have to add on that topic, if that'd be all right, is, I was wondering, is it possible for the city to help advertise other people's community things?
Every 2 minutes is up.
Use even a minute.
That came from Kelsey Waivers.
It did not.
I was asking if there was a kind of an answer.
I did.
I totally.
You did. It's okay.
Any other councilor comments? So I have a mayor comment, I didn't get to say it earlier, but I'm super excited about, Myra. It's Myra, right?
Yeah.
For Gosto. It's super exciting that I said that twice, that we're having high school graduates.
Mayor
come work for
Kiefer,
the city.
Mayor, can we have quiet in the audience, please? Thank you.
That was rude.
Please start again. It's recorded in yours.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's recorded. So it's, super exciting, and that's the third time I said it, that we have Myra that's gonna be working for us. I mean, we're having Riverside graduates apply for city, and, that's just cool. I'm not gonna say super exciting for the fourth time. We can sanction, have sanctions, but anyway, just tease it. That's the end of that. So, that's the end of my mayor comments. We're gonna go into executive session
So
and what?
how come we passed this out?
Okay, should we need to name that?
Oh, okay.
Get the communication out
So
there.
you can read it.
So you can't say you weren't being
Yeah.
included.
So we're gonna go into, our executive session. This meeting is being conducted with public access in person and, no, that's not it.
Fine.
Where am I at?
Script 5.
Script 5.
I've been sanctioned, so I'm not happy.
You can. Reading the wrong one. The Boardman City Council will now meet in executive session pursuant to the following. ORS 192.6602D, which allows the council to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to carry on labor negotiations. That sounds fun. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session in person. The public virtual Zoom meeting link will be closed during the executive session as permissible. Executive session meetings are not subject to HB 2560. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session is previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session. The executive session is expected to last 30 minutes. Action is planned after we resume the council meeting. So we will pause our city council meeting. All right, we'll resume our city council meeting after we came out of executive session. Do I have a motion?
I move to ratify the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 670 contract effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
Second that.
A motion, a second. Do we have any additional discussion about the Having hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? The city council meeting is adjourned.